There we go. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. We have a really awesome video for you guys today. Um, I think y'all can see both of our videos in this recording, but today we're speaking with Pramit, the creator of Louie Voice Control, which is an app that you can control YouTube and contacts and a whole bunch of other cool apps. So I hope y'all enjoy and we'll see where this goes. Well, Paramount, why don't you just start with like explaining like your inspiration behind the app and stuff like that?
Thank you, Emily. Yeah, sure. So I'll just quickly talk a bit about my life and then maybe the how I got the inspiration to build Louis.
Awesome.
So I actually, my life, if I were to break it up into two parts, so the first half was somebody with a normal vision, and the second half as a visually impaired. It was reaction of a drug about 20 years back that impacted the retina and my vision dropped drastically. And then over the years, it just kept dropping. And there was a phase when it dropped quite sharply, and I couldn't read anything at all. And this was I just to sort of tell you, I'm a computer engineer, I'm an MBA, and then I've worked with global companies like Unilever, Motorola, Quest Diagnostics. And when I just couldn't see and the vision was dropping, I was lost. I was just sitting at home for 2.5, 3 years, just not knowing what to do next. There was this complete loss of confidence. And then I slowly came out of it. And then there was this chance meeting with a friend, that experience which actually led to the birth of Louis. I had gone to meet my friend in his office. He offered to book an Uber for me. He took my phone and he said, "Okay, where do you want to go?" I gave him my destination. Uber came up with three different options. He asked me to choose one. I told him that. And similarly for the fare, for the ride, and then we confirmed the booking. And then he even called the driver for me. And all this was a two-way voice interaction that we were doing, just like we do with any of our physical friends. So on the way in Uber, that experience, there's something magical in it. And I said, oh boy, wasn't it great? Now, what if I could build a virtual friend, exactly like my physical friend, a virtual friend right here on the phone screen, who will do exactly the same thing, get into a voice interaction with me, give me all the options, and will allow me to voice control, do everything with voice commands within a supported app. And this is what led to the birth of Root.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I really like the idea of even though I use voiceover and different screen readers like that, I love the idea of like a more reliable two-way voice interaction with an app. So that way you don't always have to depend on a screen reader or something like that. But so where are y'all kind of just in app like development? So everyone kind of knows like where they can get the app and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. So currently, Louis Voice Control supports Uber. The story that I talked about. So Uber was, of course, the one we wanted to develop. YouTube, WhatsApp, managing contacts, phone calling, and we are also just putting in text messages. There are many more apps that we are developing, including Messenger, Facebook, and we want to even voice control an app, which can help in food ordering. It could also be some e-commerce app. And we are also looking at solving pain points of visually impaired. For example, one of the major feedback, I've been talking to a lot of users across the world. One of the pain points is just being able to search on the web and being able to web navigate, being able to read articles, documents, and so on. Similarly, sometimes simple things like receiving and disconnecting calls can be a little tough. So basically, combination of these pain points, the features of the phone, as well as the more apps to be voice controlled. This app is currently in Android and is available for anybody to download on Google Play Store. Not to say that we won't do iPhone. In fact, next year we are planning to do a technical feasibility for iPhone and hopefully have it out for iPhone quite soon.
That's awesome. Because that was actually my next question to see if when it was going to be available on iPhone, because that's a question that I've gotten a lot, because I don't know how it is there in India, but here in the States, a lot of blind people I know like use iPhone. And whenever I was talking to them about the app, they're like, "Oh, cool! Like, when's that coming out on iPhone?" And I'm like, "Good question."
Correct. No, it's a brilliant question. And let me tell you, so how we started on Android was purely because I'll tell you, there's no other app right now in the world which works the way Louis does. So the technology is actually a screen, Louis works, like I said, it's a friend sitting right there on the top of the screen. So we work on top of the screen, and therefore what it means is that theoretically we can do voice control anything on the phone, any app, whether it is fully accessible, partially accessible. Now the way we always knew it's going to be technically very complex. So it just so happened that a couple of companies helped us do the initial feasibility, build early prototypes for us, which proved to us that yes, it is possible to build something like this. It so happened that I had capabilities in Android, and therefore we decided to, having got it done for Android, we said, okay, let's do one thing, do it well. So right now it's in Android in English, but the next step is to get into iOS, and I completely agree with you. On the need to for supporting iPhones as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think from what I'm not a app big, I don't know much about app development, but I've heard that starting new like projects like that, especially with that are so technically complex, Android is the easier platform to start on just because it's more like open source and everything, Apple, everything is so controlled. Um, you have to get everything
Correct.
approved, and Android is more
Yeah.
open source, so it's not as difficult to experiment around and figure things out. Is what I don't know
Yeah,
how true
absolutely.
that's.
You're absolutely right, Emily. And I think this is what we have been doing. So now we have been, working on it for almost 2.5 years. We are a small tech startup out of India, and we have investors, by the way, in US as well, both in India and US. And you're absolutely right that Android gives you that flexibility to experiment, play around. But now we have sort of figured out how to do it, and we are very hopeful of being able to crack it for iPhone as well. Despite the fact that yes, it's relatively more rigid and more closed.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that. That especially since y'all have been out for a little bit. Um, Hopefully, Apple will approve everything because they could look at what y'all have done on Android and see the good that um, it can do, and yeah, and hopefully they'll approve everything. But as, as someone
You're
who,
absolutely right. I hope it exactly works like that. I think it would, because I think, at its core, it is just a social venture. I started by trying to solve my own problem, like the example that I gave. Now, I think it's a project which is all about trying to, make something that can work for not just visually impaired, but also for motor disabled, for elderly people. So I think there is a, there is a big social cause, and I am very hopeful that we'll get the right support from all quarters.
yeah, exactly. That's what I like about the app too. That's not just like a blindness or a VI like specific app. That it could be helpful to people with all kinds of motor impairments, like any type of physical um, impairments, and even like you said, like maybe elderly people who have like arthritis or something, and it's in their hands and making it harder for them to manipulate a touch screen. So I like just the wide um, audience that the app can cater to and work with. But as someone who's also interested in technology, and I know a few people who watch my channel, how is it like trying to code the app and build the app as someone with a visual impairment?
Oh, okay. So, to be honest, though I'm a computer engineer, I have a computer engineering degree long time back. But like I said, I moved more into marketing and business. So we are a small startup with a overall team of 14 people. We have five people in technology. They are all sighted Android developers. Besides me, we, by the way, have three more visually impaired people who work on testing as well as the user experience. So if you look at it at its core, this is just a voice interaction. That's what the user experience is. So the user experience part of it, what does Louis say? What will user likely to say? How do you react to it? That's really, to my mind, the crux of it. And yes, but our Android developers are also great because now, there were times, I mean, there were earlier challenges when I had to buy blindfolds. And, some often the sighted developer will look at the screen and say, oh, it looks fine to me. Now, we have always developed this app keeping a blind person in mind. And the theory was that, look, if it works for blind, it will work for anybody else. So often I have to put a blindfold on their eyes and say, okay, now try it out. And now tell me, does it work? And, so over a period of time, I think they are also now completely into that, that sense of, okay, wow, who are we building it for? So yes, it has been a journey with its ups and downs, and like I said, extremely complex project. And there is still a lot to be improved on. There is still a lot to be developed, and that's why my request to all your viewers would be to try it out, whosoever is Android, and please give me feedback because that feedback is what will help us develop it and make it work for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I hope, yeah, that people, just who do have access to Android devices will, test it out because, like I've said before, it wouldn't let me download it on the Android, my Braille Note Touch Plus, which runs Android. But I'm sure that's just since my Braille Note runs like a modified version of Android. I'm guessing that's what the issue is, since it's
Correct.
like Android partnered with Keysoft. That's what I'm guessing the issue is. But I'm hoping people who maybe have like Galaxies or um, whatever pure Android device that they can download it and give you awesome um, feedback. And for if you're watching this on YouTube or on my Facebook, you can either comment or give us some like contact. How would you want people who are looking at the app to contact you with feedback? Do you want them to leave it in the Play Store? How would you like them to give you that feedback?
Okay, so yes, of course, they can put their feedback on the Play Store also because that also comes direct to me. Also on the Play Store itself, in the app description, and I will tell you my email ID also, we have actually put in my email ID. It is Pramit at louisvoice.com. I'll just spell it out. It is PRAMIT at louisvoice.com. And Louis is spelled out as LOUIE. So it is Pramit at louisvoice.com.
Awesome.
And you can be sure that once we have connected, I actually like to talk. to the users, because that way you can understand the feedback much better. And by the way, I'm available on Messenger, on Skype, on WhatsApp, any other way, what is convenient for the user to give feedback.
Awesome. I will also leave his email as well as a link to the app in my in the YouTube description, and also when I post this link to my Facebook page, I will leave a link to the app as well as the email either in the post or the first um in the first comment in my Facebook post, so that way y'all can give feedback and whatever feedback, reviews, whatever y'all want to give. Um, I'm trying to think if I had any other questions. Um, I don't have any other questions that I can think of. Is there anything that you would like to add? Anything else that you would want the viewers out there to know about?
Oh, yes. So there are a couple of things, Emily, and if you allow me to. So once I would certainly like to talk about how the name Louis came,
Awesome.
because again, there is a strong, there's a very strong inspiration behind it. So the story of Louis is that we were looking for a short and simple name, simple to pronounce, and because day one we knew it's going to be a global app. So whether you are in US or India or South Africa or Russia, it has to be a name that everybody finds it easy to speak. Then as we targeted on Louis, we realized that look, the real inspiration behind Louis has to be Louis Braille. And Braille, of course, we know has so significantly impacted all our lives. So what we are hoping to do with Louis Voice is to be able to follow on that path and be able to do at least some bit of positive impact on the life of visually impaired, motor disabled people across the world.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Of course, yeah, I love the idea because I love Louis Braille because I'm an avid Braille reader. Braille's a big part of my life, and as a really brand new YouTuber, I use Braille a lot to kind of plan out videos and in my schoolwork. So I think that's kind of cool that y'all brought Louis over into that name over um into kind of like the tech space too, since that's like you said, like an easy pronounce name, and kind of a name that I know like the blind community would recognize because of Louis Braille and the impact that he made for the blind community.
Absolutely. And Emily, if I can add one more point, because that's a question that is asked very, very frequently to me. And that question is, how is it different from, say, a Siri or an Alexa or a Google Assistant? Well, there are two fundamental differences. Like the example that I gave you of my interaction with my friend when he was booking Uber for me. So one of the fundamental differences is that Louis does a two-way human interaction, continuous interaction. Now, something which if you have to book an Uber, you can't have a situation where you give one command and then the voice assistant goes silent. Again, the same command, and then it starts again from fresh, from the beginning. So what Louis does is engages into a continuous conversation. That's very important. And number two, the big difference is that whichever app Louis voice enables, you can do each and everything within that app with just voice commands. So, for example, if it is Uber, you are not able to just book Uber, post your booking. You can share your ride with your dear ones. You can make a you can make an emergency call. God forbid it shouldn't happen, but you can also change your destination while you are in the ride. You can do multiple stop booking, practically each and everything, and it just becomes far simpler to do it that way. So these are two fundamental differences, that Louis will do each and everything within a supported app. The voice assistants do only superficial two or three things. And then there is continuous voice interaction.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Those are two awesome points, and I just like that it's like an app, and also I like that the fact that it's just like an app that you can have on your phone and just go. Because Siri, is awesome. It does a lot, but it needs improvement, and I know so does Google Assistant. And then a point I've brought up is um, a lot of Alexa devices, at least my friends use, have to be plugged in. And then this is like always on your phone. Like no matter where you are, as long as you have your phone in your pocket. And Louie is always, there. So you don't have to worry about carrying like an extra Alexa or anything. Um, like that. So that was something I thought was really cool, that it's a more reliable voice assistant that's like always on your device, no matter no matter where you are, as long as you have your phone with you. Oh, and one more question I forgot about this that someone's asking me: does Louie like require like internet connection as far as like doing like the voice commands and things like that, or can some things be done like offline?
Okay, so great question. Because I think internet connectivity is not uniformly good across the world. So for the apps that we currently voice control, which are Uber, YouTube, WhatsApp, now they all require internet for these apps to work. However, we are also working, like I mentioned, on contacts, phone calling, text messaging. None of that. I mean, we want to do a whole lot of phone settings, being able to do things with the phone. Now, none of that will actually require internet. So we are right now working on this. So currently, Louis is works only on internet, but we are also working on a very good offline speech to text converter. Now that's something we are right now sort of scouting around the world, looking for a tool like that, which can help us achieve that. As soon as we integrate it, the idea would be that whichever app can work without internet, we would be in a position to support it, even with zero internet.
That would be awesome. Um, so that way, like when people are on planes and stuff like that, when you have to turn on airplane mode, or like you said, in areas where internet's not always reliable, I think it would be awesome to have eventually have like a offline mode for just doing things like managing contacts and stuff like that. So I think that's gonna be awesome and make the app a lot more functional that um, whenever that does come to fruition.
Absolutely. And absolutely, and I think it's really needed, because we have seen in parts of Africa, if even in Philippines, that the connectivity often keeps dropping. So this is something we are really actively working on.
Yeah, and which I think is really awesome. And like I've said before, like I love the idea of this app because it's free, and as long as you have a smartphone, you'll have access to it. Um, so I think it's awesome, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes, like where the app goes into development. So I am honestly really glad that you um reached out and gave me this opportunity. Um when you reached out, I was like, "Oh my gosh," like I looked up the app because like
Yeah.
because I was like, "This is cool." Like so
But
I was like,
but
"Yeah,
honestly, I will really thank you for your kind support, because it's only with your support that we can help spread the word. And like I said, for us, feedback is what we really need from users right now. So really thankful to you, Emily.
yeah," and you're welcome. And I was just glad that, I was able to do something like this because I feel like um my mission, at least on my channel, is to just kind of be a light for the blind community, and show that we can do things. We might have to do it differently, and your app gives people like a different way of doing um, things to be able to function in normal society. And I just like showcasing um, stuff like that, and just show I like on my channel like to show that we do have similar interests and we can do the same things as the sighted universe. So I think it was awesome that I was able to have this opportunity um, to present an app, because I think it'll even be helpful to people without disabilities too, for like when they're driving in their cars, not having to like look down at their phone to do something whenever y'all add text, like text messaging. So um so I'm just I think it's an awesome project, and I'm glad I've been able to help spread the word. And so before I end this video, is there anything else that you would like to um tell anyone about your story, or about the project, or just about anything in general?
No, I think I am only grateful for having got in touch with you, and I think I would really wish you, you're going to go along in terms of the way you're trying to help. You said, the sort of light there, create that light, which you can help all of us believe that there is a lot more we can do. So you're onto something wonderful, Emily, and I would like to personally support it in whichever way I can.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just this project will help um both of us in a way, because your supporters of the app will be able to see you know this collaboration. And so I'm excited to see where this goes. And um yeah, so definitely stay in touch, and thank you. If you want to talk more after I stop the video, that's good, or whatever. But I'm going to stop the video here, you guys. So I thank you for watching, and um, I hope y'all um, enjoyed this video, and will keep coming back for more. And I have some exciting things on the way. So I will see you next time on this channel. So have a nice night.